I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. And she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, I mean, it's been awesome.
Lexie Hull was this close to giving up on her WNBA dream. Riding the bench, watching others take her minutes, it was a nightmare. But then Caitlin Clark walked through those doors. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much! Now, back to the video. Suddenly, Hull's shooting percentages went through the roof. Her confidence? Sky high. And now? She's spilling all the tea on how Clark saved not just her career, but the entire Indiana Fever franchise. This is the comeback story you never saw coming. Picture this. The Indiana Fever's locker room after another crushing loss. Heads down, frustrated faces everywhere. You could practically feel the disappointment in the air. The team was in a deep hole, sitting at 1-8.
But my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So yeah, we grew up, my sister and I, playing a little bit of it. Definitely the best player, likely from their high school team. So it's just this mishmash of the best basketball players. And I think it was important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of team.
Fans were angry, players were losing hope, and it seemed like nothing could turn this ship around. But then something wild happened. Caitlin Clark walked through those doors and everything changed. You know what's insane? The energy in practice shifted instantly. It was like someone flipped a switch. Players who used to drag their feet were suddenly excited to hit the court. Clark brought this infectious energy that spread through the whole team like wildfire. Let's talk about Clark's competitiveness for a second. This rookie wasn't just there to play. She was there to win. And that fire? It lit up everyone around her. Suddenly, every practice felt like a championship game. Players had to step up their game just to keep up with her in scrimmages. It was intense, but in the best way possible. Lexie Hull spilled the tea on those practice sessions. She said, "The energy was contagious, and we knew we had to match it." Can you imagine? One player walks in and suddenly everyone's playing like their careers depend on it, because in a way they did. But here's where it gets really crazy. The team didn't just improve, they started dominating. All that hard work in practice.
So you have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up.
Then you're playing against people that have been there for years and years. Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hand.
It showed on the court. The Fever went from being the team everyone wanted to play to the team everyone feared. Hull dropped another bombshell about those practices. She said, "Caitlin wasn't afraid to push us to fix it when things weren't working." That's the kind of leadership that changes teams. No more settling for good enough. Clark demanded excellence, and the team delivered. So what made Lexie Hull doubt her future with the team before all this? It's simple. When you're riding the bench, watching others take your minutes, it's easy to lose faith.
A clutch player by WNBA fans, and she was drafted to the W in 2022 with the Indiana Fever in the first round as the 6th pick.
The basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college team.
Hull was this close to giving up on her WNBA dream. Her confidence was shot, and she couldn't see a way forward. But Clark's arrival changed everything about the Fever, and I mean everything. It wasn't just about winning games, though that was pretty sweet. Clark transformed the entire culture of the team. And for players like Hull, it was like getting a second chance at their dreams. Winning games is one thing, but saving a teammate's career, that's next level stuff. Lexie Hull was riding the bench, watching her dreams slip away. Then Caitlin Clark showed up, and everything changed. How? It all started with an unexpected pass. Remember how Hull was this close to giving up on her WNBA dream?
So that when I did get the minutes out on the court, that I could take full advantage of them. So I was just really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying. At the beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work.
Her confidence was shot, and she couldn't see a way forward. But Clark didn't just see a bench warmer, she saw potential. And she wasn't afraid to show it. Here's where things get wild. Clark started passing to Hull in ways no one expected. It wasn't just about getting her the ball, it was about creating opportunities. Hull said, "Kelsey and Caitlin draw so much attention that opens up lanes for players like me to make cuts and find openings." Suddenly, Hull wasn't just another player on the court, she was a threat. You know what's crazy? Hull's shooting percentages went through the roof.
Sick that we had lost so many games, and also feeling like we were better than that. So to be that open person, you get excited. You get excited for the opportunity to shoot and score. And my role is just getting to the open spots. And we have such a good offense that people find the open person.
We're talking standout performances with 22, 10, 17, and 11 points after the Olympic break. Compare that to only scoring 10 or more points in 2 out of over 20 games before Clark arrived. That's not just an improvement, that's a total transformation. But here's the real kicker. It wasn't just about the passes. Clark believed in Hull when no one else did. After every missed shot, Clark would tell her, "You got the next one." Can you imagine how that feels when you're doubting yourself? It's like someone handing you a lifeline when you're drowning.
I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. And she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, I mean, it's been awesome.
Hull's whole game changed. She was playing with a fire we'd never seen before. Head coach Christy Sides noticed it too. She said, "I know she didn't get the playing time that she wanted earlier in the season, but she just kept working and kept working." And that's the kind of dedication that pays off. So how did Caitlin Clark's arrival change the team's energy? It wasn't just about winning games or improving stats. Clark created a culture of trust and support. Hull put it best when she said, "We never turned on each other." That mindset of unity is what got us through those tough times. That's the kind of team spirit that turns struggling players into stars and losing teams into contenders.
Playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston.
I mean, they make my job really easy, right? It's so like, now it's like, okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, like I have a real opportunity. It took me a second, and I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around, like, oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor.
But get this, the Fever's transformation wasn't just happening on the court. The whole city was feeling it. The energy in the arena, the buzz on the streets. Indianapolis was falling in love with basketball all over again. And it all started with one rookie who believed in her teammates as much as she believed in herself. The Fever aren't just winning games now. They're rewriting the whole playbook on what a team can do when they believe in each other. It's like they've unlocked some secret level of basketball magic. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark and Lexie Hull, showing us how one player can turn everything around. You know what's wild? It's not just Clark's insane talent that's making the difference, it's how she lifts everyone up. Hull said it best, "She's a great person and a great player." That's the real game changer right there. Clark's not just scoring points, she's building a team that trusts each other, fights for each other. And get this, analysts are saying the Fever might just be playoff contenders now. Can you believe it? From the bottom of the league to potential playoffs. That's not just a turnaround, that's a full-on revolution. And it all started with one rookie who decided to believe in her teammates as much as she believes in herself.